A few of the most used methods in JavaScript are attached to the array object. So just like you saw that a number or a string, when you create a number or a string or a boolean, it inherits some of the methods and properties from the constructor. Similarly, when you create an array, some methods and properties are inherited to every array. So if I scroll down, I will see some of them. So prototype.concat, copy within, entries, every, fill, filter, and so forth. This is an exhaustive list of all the methods, but here is a list of the more commonly used ones. So let's take a look at a practical example on when we use that. So imagine a scenario when you're working for a company which sells cars or rent cars or list cars, right? So the way it works in the real world is that you will have a list of objects representing cars. So you see, this is an object and this is an array, right? So cars is equal to an array, and the array is full of different objects. Object 1, object 2, object 3, and it goes so far, right? So it just goes and goes and goes. I have 4,470 lines of code. All right, so it has 406 items. So if I just do cars dot length, if I save and if I refresh, you see 406. So I have a list of 406 cars listed in this array. So let's say if you're working for this company, you will get this kind of data. And let's say you are given the task to create a filter feature, meaning a user could provide a filter. Let's say if the user wants to filter by origin, the manufacturing location, maybe the horsepower, maybe the acceleration, maybe the year it was made, or the name. The user can filter this list down to a narrow list of the items it wants to see. So let me give you an example, a demonstration on how you would do that. So I have the list of items. I will come over here and start writing some code. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to do cars, that's the name of the array, dot filter. And filter is just a method which automatically gets inherited. Just like length is a property, it got inherited automatically, right? Filter is a method that gets inherited to all the arrays. This method takes a callback function as a parameter. So I'm just going to provide a callback function. Now this is something special that this particular method does, this filter method does. Since an array is a list of items, it does not have one item, it has multiple items. The job of the filter function is to run this callback function to all the items one at a time. So just like a loop goes through the items one thing at a time, this callback function automatically runs on every item in the loop, in the array. So that's what it does. That's what its job is. Now, we have to provide certain criteria of filtration to this callback function. So one thing which is very helpful that this callback function receives automatically is every item it's iterating on. The word iteration, right? That's a new word. Iteration means just going through different items. That's all it means. So let's say it goes for the first time. It says, oh, it's got one item. I'm going to pass this particular item to the callback function. Okay, it does its job. It goes to the second item. Okay, I'm going to pass this item to the callback function. It goes to the third item. It just keeps on going through each of the items and passing this item to the callback function. So if you want to represent that item, you can capture that in the callback function like such. I can just call it item. I can call it anything. I can say A, B, C, whatever I can call, but item is a good word. So in programming, it's always a good idea to name your keywords, your variables, helpful names, so it's easy for you to understand. So cars.filter says, okay, I'm going to take each item at a time and run this callback function every time. That's all it does. So just to demonstrate that to you, I'm going to console.log item, and you're going to see this item, each item at a time is going to be printed 406 times. So I'm going to save, refresh, and you see it's printing. You see all of this items are printed one at a time. And I keep on scrolling and it keeps on showing up, right? So that's just one part of the demonstration just to show you that this is running every time. Now, here's the part that we want to do. We want to say that any item which is made in USA, we only want that list. We don't want the full list. We want just the filtered down list. So the filter method, what it does is it says, okay, if you provide whatever criteria you want to provide it over here in the function. And if you return true, I'm going to put that item to the list. And if you provide false, I'm not going to add that new item to the new list that I'm creating. Okay, so stay with me over here if you're not following. It's okay. So I'm going to say if item dot origin triple equals USA. All right, so you see origin is USA. We want to find all the items which are from origin of USA. Then return true. That's all. That's all the criteria. So what this thing does, cars.filter, it goes through the list each item at a time, and if we return true for that item, it's going to actually make a new array for us and put that item in that array. And we can it's going to spit out that array, and we can capture that array over here. So I can say const US cars is equal to like such. So you know a function or a method can return stuff. So this filter method runs this 406 times, and whenever the item says return is true, it's going to put those items inside this array that we are capturing over here. So now if I save, and actually I'm just going to print it out. So console.log US cars like such. Now you will see the magic over here. So if I refresh, now you see I got only 254 items. That is the US cars. Oh, so now if I expand this, if I come over here, you will undoubtedly see all of these items are going to have the origin of USA. All of them. All right? Because that's the criteria we did, USA. If I scroll down to a random item, USA. Scroll down again, it's going to be USA. So that is how you create the feature of filtering down items to a narrower list. And that's the power of the filter method. Talk to you in the next lesson.